Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Porchlight Letters podcast number 2266. Letting Go with Gratitude. This is episode 2 of volume 25, Clearing the Way. Okay, so we're talking about gratitude. So let's get some gratitude out of the way. So the first thing that happened today is that somebody thanked me online for all of Zeffie's goodies. And there was a lot of messages within the group that it was in, along with messages for people, showing sympathy for Zeffie and that sort of thing, which was really cool. And I just turned around and thanked them for all of the work that they do and everything else. And so that was kind of cool. And then the property management turned up today to do the final inspection. And so we walked through. And the way they do the inspection is they've got this thing called rent check, I think it's called. And it basically takes you through the house. Like you pull up the room and you start at the top and you walk your way down the list. And then it says, take photos of the floor, take photos of the wall, take photos of the ceiling, and you've got to do it from all different corners, different angles and all that sort of stuff. I hate doing this thing. But the property management, because it's final inspection, brought somebody out here to do that for me. And we went through the rooms really quickly and I told them of specific things in the rooms that I think they should look at. Especially replacing the carpet. I said, I don't know who thought putting this carpet is a long pile. It is not a Berber, which is designed for heavy traffic and all of that. It's not quite a shag, but it is a longer thing. And in some places it's wearing through and stuff. And when we first moved in, there was a hole like this big in one of the bedrooms. And I said, can we please get that replaced before my movers get there with everything in there? And they're like, yeah, we'll get it done. They never did. So I had to spend a day hauling everything out of the room when they finally arranged for somebody to come in and replace the carpet, and they replaced it with laminate flooring. But that was okay. I said, they didn't do a very good job because it's loose to walk on and it's very noisy to walk on. And I said, as for all of these tiles, I said, I don't know when these tiles were laid. I said, but they are out of whack. She goes, what do you mean? I said, you can be walking along. I says, I walk around the house a lot in bare feet, and I will stub my foot, my toe, my side of my foot on a corner of a tile that is sticking up, or along the edge of a tile that's sticking up. I said, Zeffie and I used to play with the ball, and I said, I would be standing over there by the door and I would roll it along the floor for her to chase. And all of a sudden it would hit one of those out of whack corners or edges and pop up and go off in different directions based on how well my bowling went. And so she says, okay, noted. So I was able to walk her through and tell her of different things that have been in the house since I moved in that has never been fixed. And so she's got all those notes and everything else. So she was probably here about 20 minutes. And of course she had to go out into the backyard. And so I warned her, I said, okay, when you go out in the backyard, and they had already told me, we realized that you're getting ready to move out, that the house is going to be a mess. We're not bothered by that. We just want to come and see what needs to be done after you move out and before the new tenants move in. I'm like, okay. And they stuck a lockbox on the front door. And I'm like, can you please put it around the side there? I don't want people are going to see a lockbox and think, yeah, vacant. They're going to try and break in. And they're like, oh, no, that's where we always put it. I says, that was around the side there when I first moved in here. But no, it's on my front door. Advertising to the world that either I'm in the process of moving or I've already moved out since I don't go out a lot. And so we went out the back and I warned her, I said, now before you go in the backyard, I have a very good weed garden. She looks at me and goes, I says, yeah, there's a whole bunch of weeds out there. I says, I just don't have the time to go do it. I says, but I'm getting someone to come do that. And which then leads me to my big gratitude of the day is that I was like thinking in my head, okay, they charged me $380 to do my front yard. And I think, this is the backyard and it's bigger. There's a lot more weeds here. Probably going to be looking upwards of maybe around $700, $800 to get this done. The guy shows up. He told me he was 20 minutes away. And I looked at my clock and thought, if he could stretch that for another 10 minutes, then I would be done on the help chat for the day. Because, yeah, he texted me like just before 4:30 to say he'll be there in 20 minutes. I'm like, I wonder if he can stretch it just a little bit and arrive just after 4 o'clock. He arrived at 4:10. So I got all my help chat done and everything else. So that was cool. So I was grateful for that. Got that to go done. And so I met him outside and walked him around the yard, showed him what needed to be done in the front. Then we went into the back and and I will tell you this, Zeffie's been gone 12 weeks. There is a row, and it is all in a straight line of dog poop that goes from the gate down the side of the house to just beyond the end of the house. I haven't been outside over in that area since Zeffie passed. I had totally forgotten about it, but it did bring me back to something that was posted. There's a really cool Facebook group. It's called My Dog is an Asshole. They post a lot of cool stuff about dogs, different tips and tricks about dogs, different various information, including the fact, why do dogs always pee and poop in the same place? Because when they got the ground down and they're sniffing around in circles, they're looking for the Earth's energy lines, I think it's called, or the meridians or whatever. As they're looking for those, and I'm like today I'm like looking at this line going, it really is a straight line, isn't it? So I said, I told the landscaper that I would pick all of that up before. And he said, oh, that's okay. And I'm saying, no, I've got to go pick it up. So that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow morning. And then he looked all around and checked a couple of things. And he says, okay. He said, I can do the front yard, the backyard, and went through the list of what he was going to do and all that. And I said, and how much is that going to be? And he says, $400. I went, $400? He said, yes. I said, thank you very much. I said, when can you do this? And he says, tomorrow. So we walked back out. I left the gate kind of unlocked. In fact, I didn't put the bolt that goes downwards into the ground. I didn't put that away because then it gets very sticky. So he's able to open that up tomorrow. And I got inside. And after he left, I got inside and just burst into tears. Because I was expecting this big layout of money, and it came down to $400. And he can do it tomorrow. And I was like thinking, oh, he won't be able to get it until next week. And I'm going to be under pressure and all that, because there's huge pressure of getting the yard done. It was such a huge weight that it was just lifted off me that I just burst into tears, and with gratitude, lots of gratitude. And after that, I was just so drained. I was like, I need a nap. So my apologies for being late. And then, of course, I used ChatGPT to help me get my notes together. And it decided that I was at the end of my length on this thread of the chat, and I need to start. And I'm like, really? And so I said, okay, please refer to these other 3 threads to get the pattern that we use, the format that we use for the notes. And it completely changed everything. I went, no. And so I've been arguing. I've spent the last 15 minutes arguing with ChatGPT because it wouldn't put it in the format I wanted it in. It was changing all the words that I had told it to use. And I was just like, no, this is not acceptable. And I told it to leave out certain things, and it puts them in. And so I was just getting all frustrated and all that. And we finally got everything done. I was like, finally. And so I was grateful that we got that done, grateful that we got on the air, and I apologize for being late. So, yes, there are challenges that we face in the day, but face them with gratitude. Be grateful that you've gone through the experience, because now you've stretched and grown just a little more. And now we're going to talk about letting go with gratitude. And this is going to come down to letting go of things, like physical things, letting go of emotions, letting go of certain thoughts and feelings towards different people. So basically forgiving them with gratitude. Well, some people won't forgive, but they will let it go with gratitude. I'm not quite sure how that one works, but have I done that? Probably somewhere along the line. But it's just about this whole thing of letting go with gratitude. So that's what we're talking about tonight. And letting go with gratitude is not about pretending it did not matter. It is about recognizing what something gave you even as you release it. When we pair release with thanks, the goodbye feels softer. Gratitude becomes the bridge between holding on and moving forward. I will tell you, on Sunday, when we were loading that stuff up into the car, all of Zeffie's stuff, yes, it was an emotional thing. I'm telling her about Zeffie because it's been donated in her honor. And I just didn't realize how. I knew all the back of her car was packed because we packed a trunk. We put the pink wagon into the back seat. And she took a picture of it all, like half of it still in the thing, the other half out on the ground. And I was sort of like, that is a lot of stuff. Yeah, that was a lot of stuff. And I guess I just didn't realize. I knew we were filling up her car. I just didn't realize how much stuff was there, which comes in handy because that same organization that the stuff is going to is going to come in handy, because apparently on it's either Sunday night or Monday night. I'm not sure if there was a big storm that came through one part of Phoenix, and there was this group of homeless people that lost everything. They were cold, they were wet, they were hungry, and all their belongings got washed away with the storm and everything else. And so this organization that I donated the stuff to is frantically pulling stuff together to help them get back on their feet and that sort of thing too. So I was grateful that I had delivered that stuff in the right amount of time, because there was stuff in there specifically for people, not for animals. So hopefully they're able to use some of that stuff. What it teaches us is that gratitude shifts letting go from painful to peaceful. Acknowledging what something gave us allows us to part with it more easily. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It means honoring the value and then releasing it. We create more aligned space when we release with a thankful heart. Okay, that's been interesting, this whole moving process of sorting through stuff. Some of the stuff I just have no attachment to it. I'm like, why do I even have this? Oh, that looks like it might have been something of Brad's. Okay, that can go. Or I don't even remember getting this, don't remember buying it or anything else, don't even know what we've got this for. It's gone. And then other times it's just like, oh, I remember this. And then at that point, I will release it with gratitude, because I will sit there and think, do I need to take this to New Zealand with me? When was the last time I saw it? Like 15 years ago. I haven't worried about it since then. So it is time to let that go, to say thank you and let it go. It served its purpose 15, 20 years ago. It's not going to serve it. It's not going to serve the purpose moving forward. So we need to let it go with gratitude. So there's different ways that you can let things go. It's sort of like you look at it and you have no attachment to it whatsoever, not even a memory of getting it. It's gone. And there's none of this sort of like, oh, maybe I will use it. Yeah, no. It's gone. It's a quick yes, no decision. There is no, oh, but this is no. Yes or no. Release. It's like, what did I have today? I was trying to think of something that I saw today that I just did a yes, no release on. I was cleaning out a milk crate, and then there were 2 boxes in there, very special boxes. In one box was all the cards my mum and dad got when I was first born. When I was born, they got all of these beautiful cards. Congratulations, it's a girl, blah, 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 blah. And mum's got them in this box. So I came across that today and says, yeah, that's definitely coming with me. Then I found the scrapbook that my mum had put together. And in the scrapbook, it's got my birth announcement. It's got the card from the end of my crib in the hospital, which has all my information and details on it. And then there was every birthday for the first 16 years of my life, my mother collected all the birthday cards and put them into a scrapbook. Do you think I'm going to keep that? Heck yeah. It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. That's a no-brainer. Then you come across some of the book. I mean, I have a lot of books, and I'm like thinking I'm at the end of sorting through books and open another box and it's full of books. I'm like, oh, what books have we got in here? Why do I have 2 copies of that? Well, that one can go. Am I going to keep that one? Yes. Do I read it? Yes. Have I read it? Yes. Do I need to read it again? Yes. It was like in New Zealand, we have this series that came out in the 80s, and it's called The Half Men of O. It's a trilogy. It's a sci-fi fantasy, small fantasy, a little bit of sci-fi in there. Not my real genre, but I really did enjoy these books as an adult, even though they're young adult readers. And my cousin had posted a few weeks ago that the author Maurice G had passed away, and that she was thinking of introducing her niece to the Half Men of O. And I says, oh, I have those books. At least I thought I had them. I hadn't seen them. And I'm sort of like, those are really good books. And so as I was sorting through the box, I came across them. And so I spread them out, took a picture of them and sent them. She comes back and goes, oh my gosh, you've got the original covers. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I didn't know there were different covers, but apparently I have the original covers on my copies. And are those going to New Zealand? Absolutely. They're written by a New Zealand author. They are it's a fantastic trilogy. It's a brother and sister who are on a farm. They find their way into the world of O, and the sister is the prophecy to save the world of O. and all the adventures and stuff that they have to go through, certain trials and trials that she has to go through to prove who she is, to gain the strength to be able to do this, to get different species to come together. She has to do different challenges and things, and it's just a really cool trilogy. It's awesome, and I can't wait to read it again. I was very tempted to go put them by my bed so I could read them. I was like, no, my reward is sitting down in New Zealand and reading them. So after my boxes arrive in New Zealand, it will be, and I've got everything sorted out. That'll be one of the first that'll be a trilogy that I will set aside time to sit down and read, because they are really good books, called The Half Men of O by Morris G. And I don't know if they're available in the US. So really cool series. And that was one of those things that was sort of like, yes, there was a definite decision on those books, because I want to read them again. I've read the series about 2 or 3 times now. I want to read them again. It's just such a really cool series. And it's sci-fi fantasy. And those that know me know that I don't really read that genre. Horror is a definite no. Fantasy and sci-fi is sort of like, yeah, maybe. And so this is one of those yeah maybes, but I really enjoyed it. I don't even know where I'm up to on my notes. Let's see. Oh yeah. What happens when we release the weight of resentment or regret? Gratitude transforms loss into remembrance and closure. We begin to trust that new space brings new energy. Releasing becomes an intentional act of self-respect. How we carry forward is we start with one small release and say, thank you, as you do. Reflect on what the item, memory, or person taught you. Let gratitude soften the edges of goodbye. Carry the gift, not the burden, into your next chapter. And I will tell you this, as you say thank you, it really is easy to let things go. If you've got like a notebook and it's full of these, I don't throw out notebooks, I'm sorry. That's a bad example. Me and my notebooks and my journals, I have sitting out there by the table, I have a large box. It's probably about 18 inches across, 18 inches square, and over 18 inches tall. It is full of journals. And some of the journals are used, some of them are partially used, and some of them haven't even been started in. And I've got another box sitting in the other room, a smaller box that's full of journals. In this room in here, there's journals sitting here, up there. This one sits here. I've got another one sitting here. I haven't even boxed up the journals in this room yet, but there'll be another box full. I love journals and notebooks. And quite often I'll go and go, oh, I need to write down some ideas. And I'll go and I'll look through my boxes of journals and goes, ooh. And like that little journal will like light up and go, pick me, pick me. And I'm like, okay. It's like when I work in the kitchen and I'm experimenting with food. I go to the pantry or go to the spice cupboard or something, and something will go, pick me, hello, over here, yep, come back, back, yep, me. And I'm like, oh, that'll work in that dish. It's like me with journals. It's the same way. When I'll be standing in the store just flipping through journals, go, these are pretty cool, these are okay. And one of them will go, me, here, over here, I'm coming. Yep, that's how I choose my journals. And the legacy connection, letting go with gratitude shows future generations how to hold the past with grace while still stepping boldly into the future. It becomes part of your story that you honored, what was made. Sorry, it becomes part of your story that you honored what was and made space for what will be. And we have 4 reflection questions for you. Number 1, what have you been holding on to that is ready to be released with thanks? Number 2, how would gratitude change how I feel about letting go? Number 3, what part of my past do I need to honor before I move forward? And number 4, what is one item, habit, or thought I can release today with appreciation? And our closing thought for the day is release is not erasure. It is a sacred act of recognition. When you let go with gratitude, we bless what has been and clear the way for what is becoming. And with that, we are out of here. Go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konera.